Welcome to our Whispers of Wisdom. You're joined with myself, Christine Renee, and Shantel Ochoa for this wonderful conversation that we're going to have on how to activate our chakras. Like, here's our top tips and tricks to really dive into chakra activation. And when we were thinking about this topic, it was like we recognized that we had a guest speaker not too long ago, Jessica Mangum. If you haven't watched her episode, it's fun. And we were like, I want to do that. And it was just like this easy conversation about what works for you, what works for me as healers, what do we actually do to help support ourselves staying in alignment. And I was like, oh, this will be a great topic for Shantel and I to talk on the chakras, because I feel like we there's always going to be stuff. You know what I mean? There's always stuff. We're living life. We're not on vacation here on earth. Like, there's stuff. There's always going to be stuff. And so learning how to activate and maintain our chakra health is super important. And I love what Shantel just said, is that I would say the majority of time in the past, I've heard people about like, oh, I want to activate my third eye. How do I open to spirit? Like, it's all this upper chakra stuff. And now it's like, all right, I got deep work to do. It's the lower chakra. So speak more on that, Chantal.
It definitely is. I don't know if it's because it's the age group that I'm in now, and so you get to that place in life where you start looking back and you realize all the things you've been holding on to, and it's ready to come up to the surface and to start healing that. But even with younger people, I just noticed that the conversation is shifting. There's a lot of people that want to get into ceremony work, and they want to and be doing the drumming and connecting with sound tools and energy work. And when they do that, they're seriously like, I want to focus on what I need to do to stay connected and grounded. I want to focus on the inner child work. Like, literally, I just had a conversation with a friend right now, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm doing all kinds of inner child work. And she's in her late 60s. And I'm like, good for you. But she's so happy and excited about life. And she's like, yeah, we're just healing this. And I'm like, that is literally the conversations that I'm having. I'm so excited for people because there's no fear anymore about what's going to come, when before people were just bypassing it and like, oh no, well, we're not talking about that anymore. It's like almost like the sweeping it under the rug era is kind of coming to an end, and we're not having to go and blurt it out and all that, but we're doing this inner work in our own way. That's kind of like, it's just amazing to experience and watch and witness.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. It kind of reminds me of years ago. I remember having a potential client or student. They were talking to me and they were like, well, I'm so glad you're not one of those coaches putting like naked pictures of yourself on the internet and dancing around a wildfire. Like that was like the sentiment, right? Like this fear of the wild feminine, right? And now it's like I got an email from one of my colleagues, mentors, and here she is in her late 60s, and she's naked, sprawled out over a tree branch in the jungle. And I'm like, yeah, like this is fine. This is fine, people. And it's because people are getting in touch with their lower chakras. It's like, it's connecting with the earth, it's connecting with the fire, it's connecting with this primal energy, right? And we're not running away from it anymore. I think there's been this gravitation towards, but now we're kind of at the apex of like, okay, spiritual communities out there, I love you, and we got to do this work. We got to connect with the earth. I taught a student in person how to do Sufi grind, which is just this sacral chakra activation of like moving our hips and really energetically grounding down in the earth, like drilling down in the earth with an energetic core to meet Mother Earth's energy and really be able to connect that way. And she's like, this has been a game changer. I'm like, it was a 10-minute exercise. You know what I mean? And it was like game changer activation so that she can do it regularly and feel grounded. And I'm like, I think there's this emphasis right now of like, we're done with the bypassing, when we're done with the filters. Like, you know how like it wasn't too long ago that you couldn't go on Instagram without like finding the perfect filter to make sure your makeup was on right, like all of these things. And now it's like, no, we're getting real, people. We're just going to do the freaking work We're going to get in touch with our shadow side. We're going to do the child healing stuff. And maybe that's where our company is too. Like I'm always curious about like, is this like, did we do something different? Did Chantel, Isabel, and myself, are we going deeper into it? I think we are.
Mhm.
And has always been the emphasis within our group, our company, to always go downward first. Like
Always.
always. It's
Always
always
from the
been that way.
beginning. And I think we only switched it one time and we were all three like, no, that didn't work. But let's go back. We're root up instead of crown down or heart down. And it was yeah, that was a big eye opener that people we need to heal in a like in a certain way. And it is from the root up because it brings everything up that connects you to that earthly experience. And then you're just purging. And I love that you said primal. I am like totally in this energy right now of, so I did new moon on Saturday night. And so with that, all the energy I was in was like primal energy and fearlessness and releasing and Phoenix rising. I'm like, my gosh, like this is where, like we're in the solar eclipse. We are in it. We're thick collectively because that's what I'm tapping into. And, so when you said that, I'm like, yes, it is. It's primal healing. It's primal, like we are getting down into the depths of it, but yet it doesn't feel like we are just clawing at our, past scars. We're not. We're just peeling back layers of it and letting ourselves just be seen. And I just, yeah, so much vulnerability is happening out there in a very empowered way.
Yes. And I think that's what I want to like emphasize is that
Yeah,
right now we're in a time where vulnerability is honored.
it's sexy.
It's
It's like the new
sexy.
sexy.
It is. Oh my God. I love that. Like, yes, to be vulnerable, to have these intimate spaces. It's the new sexy. It is the new sexy. And I think part of it is just like, what does primal mean to you? What vocalizations are you making? How do you move your body? Like, how are we getting in touch with nature? How are we getting in touch with our own feminine cycles? Like, and going even deeper to like, what does it smell like? Like really getting the primal about it. Like I very much recently have I don't want to be, I don't know, tricked by essential oils. You know what? Like I want to smell other humans. Like I want to know what their pheromones smell like. I want to really tap into the senses, and all of that primal nature is very much our lower chakras. Like we're talking both root and sacral when we get into those places and spaces. And when we can get into, I want to get my hands in the garden, I want to connect with my, quote unquote, I'm going to garden so I can connect with my root chakra. Like we have students that do that, but I'm like, no, 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 smell the earth. Like put your hands in it and feel the texture of the earth. Is it dry? Is it sandy? Is it clumpy? Is it clay? Like, what is the texture? Like, that level of sensuality really allows us to open to all of our senses and the senses of life. And so I love like when we can really tap into those primal natures and going, okay, now if I was touching that beautiful, gorgeous earth, like, and it's crumbling through my fingers, what sound wants to come out of my mouth at the
Mhm.
same time? Like, really, like, getting in touch with the whole body experience of like, I kind of just want, I can't wait for our snow to melt so I can go roll around in the dirt. Like, and I've never done that before. I've never been the person, like, I don't like getting dirty. Like, I barely can walk barefoot because I'm a clean person. And now I'm like, no, 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 I want to roll in it. I'm going to have leaves in my hair. You know what I mean? Like, I want to
You're gonna
smell it.
show up next week with twigs.
I'm like, yes, except it's supposed to snow 4 inches over the next like 3 days. So I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. But wait till this summer.
Okay, this summer we're looking for the twigs in the hair.
Right. And so, what we're talking about is those lower chakras and like really getting in touch with them. And so I'm like, I'm curious for you, Chantel, what's your like go to um, tuning in, tapping into that root chakra, sacral chakra, primal energy?
Okay, so for me, it's dirt, it's fire. I love a good fire. I love, like, this last week I spent a week with my husband in the Mojave Desert, and so that's where he works, and he's on a piece of land that is just raw. It's just desert and huge open sky. And so I was just loving it. I was barefoot the whole time. He's like, careful there. I'm like, nope, I'm good. I'm like, give me some dirt. I was like creating my own like soft dirt. Like it was like hard and packed, right? But then you dig into it and then this really luscious like dirt and soils under it's just desert. And so I was teaching class and stuff and I would just go and sit under the stars and I'm like, where's the fire? We need a fire. We needed this and that. I'm like, that to me for a root, yeah, absolutely. You give me the sky and dirt and a fire pit, I'm good to go.
Yeah, right. Well, and
Yeah.
notice what it feels like when you have that perfect scenario for you. When you have the dirt, you have the sky, you have the fire, and where do you feel it in your body?
Oh yeah, you feel it. Like for me, that it's so it's like the soul is just calling to me. To him, it was interesting because he was fine where he was at. You know, he's got his spot, he's posted up where he is, and I'm like, come over here. Come check this out. And so to him, he was like, what are you talking about? I'm like, never mind. I'm doing me. Let me go do me. Because that's what I needed. And so but you know, and then there's other things like definitely I'm really into patchouli right now when you're talking about essential oils. That is such a grounding and earthing essential oil that I love. So I use that a lot in practice and it just helps me to the big stay grounded and connected, but at the same time I can lift. So that's a really good one.
Yeah, totally. Well, and I love that, like recognizing that your partner wasn't in your vibe and you were like, cool, it's all good. I'm going to do my own thing over here. And what it reminded me of is this pull towards nature, this pull towards, I don't know. I'm just watching my daughter right now of how she's in the dirt. You know, she's 12, and like a lot of times 12-year-olds are getting into makeup. My daughter was literally collecting cattails and making cattail food over the weekend. And I'm like, yes, you go, girl. Like, stay in that childhood play. And she's learning how to kind of be ingenious of like making food with our indigenous plants in our area. And I just love this kind of like witchy nature that she is tapped into, and she's really comfortable in it. And I think it's because, well, one, I'm her mom and I'm like, I'm not gonna I'm not gonna tell her no on any of those things, right? And so it's kind of like I'm waiting for nature to wake up here. Like, we're still very much in winter, like, and I'm like, this year, this is going to be the year I'm going to go collect my red clover flowers. Like, I have been out of stock for 5 years, and this is the year that we're no excuses. We're heading to the mountains. We're getting the plants that I need. And it's that, like, I I love that feeling. Like, it really comes down to this feeling of like, I want my feet on the mountain. I want my hands grazing over the grasses. I want to smell the wildflowers, and then knowing how to collect that's in honoring of nature, and just getting in tune with when things are growing and how things are growing and how much is responsible to take and how much is really meant to stay and not take too much. And how are we communicating with the earth and communicating with the plants? Like, all of that feels very root chakra to me. And
Yeah.
right, like that is where I'm really like, oh, I cannot wait. And for now, yeah, I'm probably going to go muck out my goat barn. Like, and I haven't done that in probably a good 9 months because I have a community of people and I've taken a break. And now I'm like, all right, I'm ready to be the goat mom again. I really need to go muck out some barn stalls. And it really is this like this getting in full in the activation. One, it's the muscles, like it's actually doing hard labor farm work. And two, it's like, once again, you have these land animals and the smells, and it feels, you're not thinking about the politics. You're not thinking about what is the next on your to-do list when you're out mucking a barn. Like, you're just not. And I love that. I love that. And it's not about like what music can I put on to take my mind off of things. It's no, like I'm really in the physical labor of it. And I love that as a very, very rooty activation. Like it feels so good. And so I don't know, for someone in the urban world, is this how you clean out a cat box? I have no idea. But like,
Oh gosh.
like, ugh, like I don't want to do that. Ugh, right. But like, what is
I'll,
that thing?
I'll say it took some training on how to clean a freaking cat box. It's definitely not my favorite chore. But when you're talking about that, I could just see all the joy that it's bringing. And what it was reminding me of is the thing is when we are, whatever activity it is, when we are in our joy, you cannot be in a negative mindset at the same time. It
Yes.
doesn't work. So it's like, that is it. It doesn't matter what it is that you want to do, just go do it. Whatever calls to your heart, go do it, because that's going to activate you in all of your chakras. It's going to light you up. It's going to balance you. It's going to bring all the bliss to your life because you're resonating in the moments of life that make you happy, and your mind cannot go negative. And if it does, and you're just like, nope, I'm not doing that, because you're in your happy place. And so it really is important for us to find those little niches in the world for ourselves, and not just think I don't have time for it. And I really do feel that there's a lot of people where we are having this shift right now where we're making the time to do it. And
Yes.
you may not even notice it in your life, like, oh, I am, but look at it. Where are you putting your time and your energy and your efforts and your intentions? And if it's not fulfilling you, carve a little bit of time out and just go do that. Just go do
Yeah.
that one thing. It might not be cat boxes. I mean, I don't recommend that one, but but definitely having your moments of just happiness, you
Right. Well,
know?
and I think that's where the truth is for everyone. It's in those joyful places. And what's your joyful places? Your authentic joyful places, not what you see everyone else taking a bubble bath. So that's got to be the thing. Like, no, no, no. What is it for you? What really actually lights you up? And what does that look like? And then feeling your body, which chakra does this orientate with? Like, where
Mhm.
are you actually feeling it? So even if I'm talking about, you know, um, whatever it may be, like baking, like, yeah, it could be sacral chakra, but maybe it's heart. Like I know I tend towards certain activities depending on my mood. Like if I am actually really quite upset and distraught is the right word, I'm going to be baking. And I'm going to be baking until I'm not distraught anymore. But part of it is that then I end up with all of this food and someone has to eat it. And that's where it's activating my heart, is that I get to now share my food with others and watch their joy eating my goodies. Right. And so
Yeah.
even though it feels like in the moment, I'm very much in my sacral of creation and really feeling into flavor combinations and all of these things, but the real joy for me, like the activity is not, it's a little bit of a distraction and an activation to move out whatever was stuck there. But then in the heart, it's like I loved calling up my neighbors and saying, hi everyone, if you all want to come over and grab a muffin, that would really bring me joy. And having 20 people show up at my house, right? Like and I live in a co-housing community, so like that's not weird.
Yeah,
Right?
that's
Like
how we
that's not that part is not weird. But like how are we bringing our joy to others, and how, like, so there's a bit of like, here's the lower chakras, but then you're able to bring it up into your heart space and share it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
because you're in the nurturing with your sacral, but then at the same time, you're giving and you're in that love. And so when your love is being baked and then you offer that, others are feeling that too.
Yeah,
And then it motivates them or inspires them to go do something. And then it's like you're paying it forward.
right.
Well, I went to Christine's and I got some, goodies this morning, and now I'm going to go and do this for somebody else because it's like this feel good that has this trickling effect.
Right. Well, and I think about my neighbor. Like the other morning, I was kind of doing my gratitude list, which I highly recommend. Like, yes, it is a chakra activation, is doing your gratitude list. Where does that land for you? For me, it's definitely heart space. And I was thinking about my neighbor, Peter, and how much I love Peter because he is our he's our neighbor that helps with all of the projects. Like if it has wood involved, he is involved. If there's tools involved, he's involved. And he is this retired guy who still has energy, right? And so he came over to my porch the other day, and my daughter was trying to chip off the paint of this old table that really needs to be redone. And she's trying. And he comes over and he's like, I got the right tool. And so he goes to the tool shed and he brings out a sander, and then he looks at it. And here's my daughter. One of the main reasons I moved into co-housing was so that my daughter, who has severe social anxiety, would know that other people are safe. And I'm watching my daughter and him have this conversation through my window about this table and how they're going to like tackle this project. And I'm not involved. I'm not even in the conversation. And it just lit my heart up so much to be like my daughter run and go, Mom, I had a conversation with the neighbor and I'm really excited about it. Like,
Oh,
right? Like it was such a like, he is on my list. I don't even think he knows he's on my gratitude list, but I love watching him live his passion, live his joy, and it's by helping. He is so filled up with like helping people on their projects that I'm like, I just want to bake him a cake. Like, I just want to give back to him. I can't, like, I don't even know how to do it yet. I need to talk to his wife or something, but like he's living his joy and it's by helping others. And I just wish that in my retirement I was like him. like he's not making money for helping in all of these different projects, but he's living his joy, he's living his purpose. And I just love watching him. I love seeing his activity in the community and how much I can see that it feeds him. It's not draining him at all. He's such a joyful, positive, solution oriented person, and he's ready to help. Right. And so he just watching him really lights up my heart. So it's like, even if that's all it was, like, who in your world is living their mission and purpose? And can you have them on your gratitude list to kind of not only just inspire you, but also like watch their joy and
yeah.
light you up.
Yeah, so it's like letting us thrive through with somebody else. Like he becomes that person and you're like, and energetically you're sending him all the right, vibes anyway. But, sometimes it is nice to let them know like, hey, you really inspire me or whatever it is, because people, we've become so distant. And when you're talking about your daughter, I was like at the grocery store a couple months ago with my oldest granddaughter, and she's talking, we're shopping and there's this man there and she's like, hi. And he's like, looks at her like, whoa, this kid is talking to me. And she's like, my name is Aspen. And he's like, oh, hi, my name is. And I'm sitting there with her and I thought, wow, this doesn't happen anymore because there's so much fear around people and kidnapping or whatever there is. But I just loved the innocence of her just wanting to introduce herself to strangers and just be so innocent about it and so fearless about it. And I let it happen. I'm like, yes. And we had a great conversation with this man. And then he goes, but like, do, like off in his own thing. And I was like, God, kid, she was inspiring to me. So it
Yeah.
was like, okay, well, let's go talk to some other people. Let's go say hi. And that is like getting back to, again, the core, the primal part of it. Like, how can we come back to community without it being weird that you're saying hi to somebody that you don't know? And so that is for me also all solar plexus,
Mm-hmm.
right? Is
That
being in
confidence.
that confidence, that fearlessness that, we're not going to be judged because we're saying hi to somebody we don't know or we're helping somebody out. Like you see an older person that's struggling to reach something on the top shelf, go help them. Don't just watch them struggle, like go over there and be that kind person that can say, hey, let me get that for you. Do you need help? Like, whatever. And so, yeah, all solar plexus right there. And I just watched it grow for her. And I just thought, oh, that was a beautiful moment.
Right.
But for me, solar plexus is trying to think of some of the things that I like to do. I love planning trips. Okay, so that for me is like if I can be in like the planning and the activating and the gathering, and I just love that. Whether it's doing like content for work or helping others or planning trips and things, I like to be in that. It's kind of, I guess, crown or third eye too, like that fantasy of where are we going to go? That really
The
feeds me.
daydreaming, like for me,
The daydreaming.
that's totally sacral chakra. Like I'm like, yeah, I'm totally getting visions all the time about where things are moving forward. Like here I am. Yes, I'm the visionary at Moon Rising Shamanic Institute for a reason and purpose, but I totally hear you. Like I can see how it could be solar plexus. And for me, it's very sacral because it's still in that warm, juicy, fuzzy mode. Like there's not, I'm not actually doing any, like I'm not bringing it forward. So it's kind of like your third, it's more probably third eye,
Yeah, that's what I was
right?
feeling.
It's more third eye than even sacral because I'm not actually in the creation of it. I'm just witnessing the vision and holding space for that, right? Like I get those all the time, especially early in the morning or late at night, like right when your body is naturally in that theta state, your brain
Yeah.
wave is in that theta state, and to just be like, all right, I witnessed that. Now I have this opportunity to, can I bring it down and communicate about it? Can I bring that vision forward and share it with the people I saw in the vision of how I would like to bring this forward? And then it's like, okay, I communicated and then I'm bringing it down to the heart and I'm listening with my heart space. I'm listening with compassion of like, is this in resonance with these other people? And noticing that, right? I think that's such a good, like a really like, remember this part. Like you've
Yeah.
had the vision, you're communicated about it, and now we're listening with our heart of like, is this resonating with these people? Because if it's a no, it's not the right person. Don't push forward if their resonance is a no, right? So you're
And
listening.
don't be discouraged if it is. Find the next person.
Find the next person. Exactly. It's like they aren't the right one. Just because you
Mhm.
had the vision and you had a feeling it might be them because it made logical sense. Well, guess what? That's the mind trying to fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
Right. And so when we can just say, oh, you're not it. Like, I'm not going to set this beautiful vision aside. You're just not it. And I'm going to keep communicating with the people in my world that I feel like maybe they're it. Maybe my intuition is going to bring me the right person, and I'm going to trust that intuition so that when the hit comes, the goosebumps show up, the hair on the neck, on the back of your neck stands up, and you're like, oh, okay. Intuition says this is the right person. And now we're talking from our heart space and they're resonating with it. And then you're like geeking out the way Shantel and I are right now, where we're just really in the conversation and we're really excited about the conversation. And that's where it's like, yeah, it's feeding your solar plexus. It's feeding this is who I am. This is what I'm meant to be doing. Like that confidence and that motivation gets inspired. You get lit up. There's a fire. And then you bring it down into sacral where you're like, okay, how are we creating this? How are we going to plan it out? How are we going to bring this forward? And then you birth it forward into the world. And I just love that
Mhm.
juicy process. I do. I just do.
It really is. It really is a process of going from the crown to the third eye to the throat, all of it, all the way through, because it's a full system. And when you get hung up in any one of them, it's really apparent. If you're tuned into your system, your chakras, your energy, and all of that. So when you're tuned into it, you can tell where you're caught up. And so, but when you're all like you're talking about, you're all into it and you're motivated and inspired and all the juiciness is coming, it's literally flowing all the way through you. And to be able to have that end result and say, I created this. And look at all the people that we gathered that are all a part of it, and all the hands are included. And it's peopling, but at the same time, sometimes we have to be the one that leads it, that gathers it and gathers the people around. And so, yeah, really seeing that a lot. And I love it.
Well,
It's just
and notice
exciting.
too, like that flow when you're doing your work, when you're willing to tap into your primal spaces and tap into your solar plexus and clear out those limiting beliefs and fears. And when we're able to tap into an open heart space where we're welcoming in support, like your internal flute of this energy movement, it's when you work with other people who are doing the same work to keep the maintenance going of their alignment, all of this process is so much easier and so much faster,
Yeah.
right? Like I think that's also interesting too, because you might be talking with someone and they are like, yeah, it sounds like a great idea, but But it's like, oh no, there's your solar plexus issues. I'm moving forward faster than you are because
Time for a butt.
right, exactly. It's like, no, we're moving forward. And just to recognize that people are on their healing journeys. And oftentimes we get into projects and relationships, right? When we're bringing this fruition forward, but the hangups are where the lessons are, right? And
Yes.
so I find that fascinating as well of going, oh, look, I'm really clear in my solar plexus and my self worth and my confidence level. I'm really motivated. And they're getting hung up because they think, what if they're too much? Or what if they're not enough? Or what if, like they've got their hookup, right? And you're the one who's like, no, I'm good in that area. And you're moving forward and you're pulling them along. And in that pulling them along, they have a choice. They can either drag their feet or get the fuck on board, right? Like they come forward and do the work of going, look, we can prove to our solar plexus that we can do it and create a new story. What stories are we creating? You're putting out a story that says this is going to be hard, and I'm putting out a story this is going to be easy, right? Like that dissonance is an opportunity for learning. And the person who's moving forward and this is an easy flow, it might be, well, this is where I need to learn how to have boundaries. No, I'm not available to do a project to this extent if you can't come fully on board with me. Like, right. And so it all the time, there's opportunities to witness our own healing stories, our own journeys, and go, am I available for this or am I not? And that right there is solar plexus and really understanding what healthy boundaries are and going, I'm available for people who are ready to step forward with me. I am open and available for people who are going to motivate me and encourage me and be right on page with me. So if that's not this person, maybe they're not the right fit for this project, right? And to get really real about it of and giving them like giving the other person like this is what's coming up for me. Like all of this is happening so that we're working on our communication, they're able to hear and they have an opportunity to heal, but it's got to be their choice. We can't drag people along if they're not ready for it.
No, you can't go rescue anyone. You can't drag them. You can't force anyone to see what you can see, right?
Right.
And that's the thing too is it's okay. We can accept everyone with where they're at, and there's probably places for them in other areas of your life, but when you're in solar plexus energy, it's really difficult to be motivated and going. It's like you're on the train, right? And then you have somebody like, it's like, oh
Right,
no,
they're
no,
throwing the
wait a
brakes
minute.
on.
We aren't doing that. That doesn't work. And so, but there's other things. So maybe they need to be more focused in the details or whatever it is. But I just love it when we can see where we're coming from energetically like that. And then when you get into your heart and it's all about compassion and love and everything we were talking about and our throat. So let's talk about our throat. Like, what are your favorite like throat activities that you do and activations?
I wish I hummed more because I know it's a really great activation, but it's not for me. Like it's just not something I think about. But for right now, I would say my number one throat activation is in the exhale and the sigh of it. So taking a nice
Oh,
breath and sighing out. And then also just vocalizing things, like not holding back. Like if I'm cooking and I'm smelling, I'm like, this is so yummy. Like I want to make vocalizations. I want to make noises. I want to make sounds. And for
mhm.
me, that's like really throat chakra activation. And oftentimes, this is also where, there's a bit of fear of judgment of like, if I'm over here smelling my pot of food and going, it's so yummy. Like I'm just like really in it and I'm moaning with it. Like I'm really in the senses of it, but I'm letting it activate through my throat. I feel like that can be really empowering and it can be really also honoring of your senses and you're telling your senses like, yes, feel it all, feel it throughout your whole body, and that's okay, right? So like I love like playing with vocalization. So like let's say I'm doing dance for myself. Like I really love ecstatic dance, I love movement. And what if I made noise with that? What noise would it be? Like and so let's say I'm listening to something really primal and I'm growling or I'm huffing or whatever it is. It's like I feel like that is something that can be really activating on your whole body level, that the vibrations that we make in our throat are fed throughout our whole cellular system,
Yeah.
right? And so it's
Yeah.
like, why aren't we doing this? Like I feel so much better when I make vocalizations. And how does that feel? So I know that one might feel like a little out there for some people, but that's why you can start with humming, right? I just kind of bypassed that one and went right to like really feeling into the sacred sounds that come out of my mouth. And that's the way, like, I almost need to frame it like that. These are sacred sounds. And if I'm making sacred sounds, what does that mean for me? What does that mean for my body?
And then it is because it's actually manifesting our own frequency through sound, right? And
Right.
when you have that sound barrier that's broken, it's like, oh my gosh, I am, and I do this with people all the time. So at my workplace, it's a dome and it echoes. And if we have a really good session or we're in releasing, I'll walk through there and I'll holler like, woo! And then you'll hear somebody else. No, and I love it. And it echoes, but this like going back to the new moon the other night, we're around the fire and we were doing this activation. I was drumming and it was what are we releasing? We're letting the fire come up. So, very solar plexus where what is being ready to be released. And when you feel that emotion, you throw it into the fire, you shout it into the fire. So at first they're like really quiet with it. Oh, like fear, shame. I'm like, nope, say it louder, say it louder. Like, and then it's like fear, shame, ah. And then I started yelling. And then at first they're like, but then they all joined in. It's like, yell, let that come up. And so at the end, when all of it was released and you're drumming at the beat of like the and all of a sudden it's like boom, and it all stops. And they're like, oh. It's like so powerful to be able to bring all that up and they don't even know they have it in them.
Yes.
Because it's not normal to go around and screaming or humming. And people really get very, I don't want to say offended, but they get like, oh, why are you making
Agitated
like,
or
yeah, like you're humming with your
edgy.
food. You're like, this is so yummy. And then people are like, oh, I don't want to hear that. I mean, I'm not talking like when people are like smacking of the lips, but when you're just enjoying the food,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
or whatever experience you're having. We have to be able to vocalize that because this part of our chakra system is so important. For me, I think mine has become, I'm trying to listen more. And
Mhm.
so that is really where, like, I'm listening to the conversation and I'm engaging in everything, but I'm really trying to be more attentive with that part of it and letting my ears be the vibration of my throat chakra right now. And so that
Yeah.
one's interesting. Instead of always projecting what I need to say next, I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah. Well, and I love that note too. And it kind of brings us even into the third eye space of can you go to a spot in nature and just listen?
Mm.
Like the other morning, I was doing my normal, like I've got my morning music on. I'm kind of dancing around the kitchen, getting my kids ready for bed. And the sun is at the perfect angle that the sunrise comes from my window above my kitchen sink. And so I can watch the sunrise. And, so I grab my sacred tobacco, I run outside and I give my offering to the morning. And the minute I shut the door, all of the noises changes. I can hear the sandhill cranes moving over. I can hear the Canada geese. I can hear the creek that's down, a quarter mile down the ways. And I can feel the breeze. And all of a sudden, I was in a completely different sound experience. Right.
Wow.
And one was like, yes, it was energizing. It's my routine. And then I go outside and it's like, oh, and here's the calm. Here's this moment of gratitude for the new day and listen to what nature has to offer. And even though it was probably only 5 minutes, I stood there and watched the sunrise. It created such a contrast from one beautiful noise to another beautiful noise, one that's man made and one that's nature made.
Yeah.
Right. And
And
so
when
it's
you do the offering, she shows up.
yes, right? And it's
Uh-huh.
like I still would love to like encourage and do this for myself of like, what if I was in nature at the same time every single day for, a certain amount of time in the same spot, right? And all that we're doing is listening and becoming nature. Not I'm it's a different form of meditation because it's not like you're noticing the thoughts and letting them go. No, you can let your thoughts go, but I'm nature. I am nature. I am one with nature because then when the plants and the animals don't see you as a threat, your energy isn't threatening. Like you're just going to show up every day in the same spot. Nature will show up for you because you're no longer a threat, right?
Yeah.
And so you're listening with your whole body. You're one with your whole body. And so this is a really great third eye crown chakra exercise of like, I am one with everything. And once nature sees you as that, then it's like where I live, the deer will show up, the quail will show up, the muskrat will show up, like whatever is around isn't intimidated by your presence and they'll show up and say, yeah, you're one of us. As
Yeah.
I'm nature, we're not separate.
Yeah, you definitely have a beautiful view over there and with the deer and everything in that big picture window. It's like, so it's just literally like you're just watching nature happen right outside.
It
So
is all the time. And so
from
I'm
the
very
comfort of your own
fortunate.
home. So it's crazy.
It is, it is. I'm really fortunate and to also know that I am living in town and I'm living in a community of 42 households. It's not like I'm not in a rural area by any means, and yet nature is at my door. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, wonderful. So lately I've been doing a juicing. So I'm doing green juices every day. And that has been very much lifting me up. And I know it's like on a cellular level and energetically. So I'm like I don't know if it's the frequency of what's in the juice, but being all up in the third eye and crown. And so if I'm not careful with it, there's like the other night or the other day, I was just like, woo, and I had to go and eat like really grounding food because I was lifted so much. And I'm like in my second week, I think, of every day drinking it. And you just feel it flowing through, right? So I've been feeling very like up in my higher chakras and then having to bring in my balance and making sure that I'm still here and present. But even my husband was like, "Are you okay?" Like I'm like, "Yeah, I'm good." I'm like, and then like an hour later, I'm like, "I think I need a steak. Like, I need
Right?
some food. Hey, can you barbecue?" And it was like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and he was like, "For dinner?" And I'm like, "No, now. I think I need it now." Like,
I love
okay,
that. That makes my heart so happy for you to just one, that you recognize what was energetically going on, two, that you were able to ask for it, right?
yeah,
Like, no, I need it now. I need my steak right now. And that you had a partner that's responsive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So he did. He went and he barbecued, and I ate. I was the only one eating, but it was okay, and I loved it. And I was like, wow, this feels really good. And so the thing is that that juice has now activated a few people around me, and so now he's fully on board with it, and he's just like, wow. And he's a researcher, so once you expose him to something, he goes in and researches it. What are the benefits of it?
Yeah.
And then he's like, yep, we need this, we need that, we need to eliminate that for his own digestive. Like for him, he was saying, as we have spinach in it, ginger, and there's one other thing that the fiber, the cucumber, cilantro, I think it is. So if you have too much fiber for his system, that's too much. It doesn't affect mine, but for him. So he's like, eliminate this, add that. And I'm like, wow. And then you start feeling into all of it. He's empowering himself. He's in the creativity of it. He's still grounding. He's doing all these things. I'm like, it's just so interesting to when you live life through the lens and the scope of your energy,
Right.
right? And we
Yeah.
label them, but it's like really it's you just being the energy being that you are
Yeah.
and just trusting that what's coming forward is because we are multidimensional beings. And so it's like we're doing this through all spaces and dimensions and our layers and up and down. And so it's so fluid, but we think of it sometimes as it just being so systematic. And it's like, it's not. Be and flow with your own energy so that everything can come forward for you and you release what's not there or what's not serving you. You you gravitate to what is, and you're good. You're good to go.
Yeah. Well, and I love that. Like part of what you just mentioned is that the chakras are not standalone systems,
No.
right? And I think that this is where I mean it's definitely one of my little pet peeves in the spiritual community is that we've got like if like I remember always seeing this like does your sleep patterns is the pineal gland, third eye or crown? I'm like why can't it be both? Like they're affecting both. Your sleep cycles are affecting both. Like and as you can notice from this discussion, like one is going to flow into another. Our energy is going to flow into another, right? If they're open and receptive, this can be a spark of inspiration for them to also like resonate at our frequency. And I love that. I love this real witnessing of like, I'm doing this for me and I'm feeling this way. And it's really lighting me up for my chakras and for my health and healing. And then the people in my life are noticing that they're resonating with that. And they want to get on board too. And I
Yeah.
think, right. And I think like if we were just initiating our joy, what permission are we giving to other people to initiate their joy? Period. If that was the world, if we were all going committed to doing one joyful act a day, the world would be a better place. It would be. And so this is like, for me, this is where joy, where radical self love, where doing our self work is a form of revolution. It's a form of radically saying, I'm worthy of this. And therefore, I'm giving permission to others to do it too. I just love it.
And just and being the it could be the catalyst of it, like it, but it's what people once they witness each other, we witness each other. It is a sacred witnessing, right? And so when we are that sacred witness, we can see where everybody is at, and either you pick up what they got going on or they're picking up what you got going on because there's that frequency alignment. And I'm really fortunate right now and loving it by who I'm surrounded with right now because they're picking up what I got going on. I'm picking up what they got going on, and we come into community, whether it's here at home, it's at work, it's there's just such a wonderful vibe that's happening right now. And if you're not tapped into that vibe, ask yourself why, right? Because there is this frequency that's happening where people are starting to tune into it. And I think for our listeners is just get yourself to that place, whether you consciously do it or you have to do the work to get there. That's fine too, right? Because sometimes we just have to do some clearing out and then suddenly you're there and you're tapped into it. But really pick up all the positive things that people around you are doing because that's how you can start to shift your own mindset, your own energy, your own activations, everything is because you're seeing what others are doing and you're like, yeah, I want to do that too. I want to do that too. And you go and you pick it up and you're like, I'm going to take this, and you're in resonance with that energy.
Well, and noticing if all you can see around you are people doing the things that are making them heavy and they're complaining and like blah, blah, blah.
Yep.
Like if that's their energy, if that's their frequency and you're right there with it, this is an opportunity to witness that and say, I need to make a new choice. I need to make a new choice with the people I'm around. I need to make a new choice in my behaviors. Like I think that one of the most radical decisions that we can make for ourselves is to witness where we are responsible for our energy and how we are engaging with ourselves in the world and really going, I am worthy to have a moment of joy. So if the people around me are knocking that down, that's on them. I can go live my life the way I want to live it, and I'm going to do it anyway. And I'm going to find other people who are in spontaneously joyful moments. This is why I love going to static dance. This is why I love going to sound baths. This is the like once you're engaged with the community that are also tuning in and tapping into finding joyful moments, you will find them in joyful places, right?
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
so go seek that out. Like I'm amazed at there are opportunities almost everywhere to tune into this. Like I'm still amazed. Like I just started teaching more in person classes in Bozeman, and 5-10 years ago, I was the only person doing it. right? And now it's like the market is flooded. There is opportunities every single night to do something spiritual. And so it's like, all right, no more excuses, people.
No more excuses at
Like
all.
at all. Like go find it. If it's not in person, look online, like, and I think this is why we really love, love, love doing our soul rising program is because not only are you stepping into the frequency of a group of everyone who is actively working on their healing process and activating their joy and activating their chakras, like you're in that container and where you're going to get that accountability and support, but you're also getting all of these activating actions all of the time. We have like over 30 different activating actions for the chakras. And I just absolutely love it. Like this is why I do what I do, and like witnessing our students progress and really get into those murky, shadowy places and finding that space of alchemization and loving those areas of themselves instead of rejecting them. Like it is so it's beyond words. Like I'm so honored to do the work that I do and in the way that I do it, and really love that I have Shantel and Isabel, really are space holders and teachers and mentors, and I get to witness them. And it's just such a beautiful vision that I had that came into full fruition. And I'm in such awe of ourselves and the way our students resonate with it. So I love it. I just love it.
Yeah, it's a great space. It really is. Highly, just all of it. I feel that experience with you, that energy with you of what we offer and what shows up and witnessing our students. And when you're talking about the shadow part, I do want to say for those who are listening, there are moments when we are going to be in our shadow thoughts, and I recently just had a night, not a whole night, but I had a few hours where I'm like in my shadow timelines, my ideas and thoughts, and I thought, give yourself this time because it's coming up for a reason and let it go. So don't get trapped there. That's the whole key is as we're talking about our chakras and how we can be in this positive mindset and joy and all this stuff. When the other side comes through, process it and release it. Don't get stuck there and think that's your new frequency, that's your new resonance, because it's not. It's
Right.
just letting you know I'm here and I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be released. And you do that work and let it go.
Yeah, I had a moment this last week where I was so tired, my body was not happy, and I needed to lie on the couch all day. And I felt sorry for myself. And I knew that, like, I'm just going to be in this moment of I'm resting. There's no activity required other than being a vegetable on the couch. And this too shall pass, right? Like, this isn't who I am, but I'm giving myself the moment to be in it, knowing that this is a pause. Maybe I don't understand why the pause is here, and I'm trusting the process. Right. And then the next day I was like, all right, here we go. We're going to clean the house and we're going to do our yoni yoga and we're going to do like, I'm going to do my things. And I was motivated again. Right. Like, but had I just pushed through, had I not given myself the moment to like let my body rest, like my body didn't feel good, had I just pushed through, it would have been 10 times worse. Right. And then maybe the sickness would have lasted 10 days instead of one day. Right.
And look at how many energy centers you tapped into just by doing that.
Right.
You went from it's sacral and it's time to rest and take care of myself. You had the awareness of crown and third eye to say, I need to do this for myself. You were compassionate with your own health and well-being. Then you stood into your solar plexus of like, okay, I'm ready to like empower myself and go step into that the next day. Like this isn't, and so look at that as we're talking about these chakra systems. It's not a linear up and down. It literally is a flow. It's a spiral effect of energy. And so whatever one you're in, know that you're connecting to all the others as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I loved this conversation. Thank you so much, Chantel, for having it with me today.
I know it was really fun. I'm like, yes, yeah, it's great. I thank you. I'm glad I'm here.
Yeah, I too.
I
So
love our conversations together.
yeah, I definitely do. I love it when they're very conversationally.
Yes.
And for all of our listeners out there, we absolutely thank you and adore you as well for showing up, for taking the time, for witnessing the takeaways and aha moments that are showing up for you in your life. And may the whispers of wisdom continue to flow in your direction. Until next time,